Okay, so today is April 25th, 2019. Um, I'm doing the video today. It's a year less a day of the day I got diagnosed. So tomorrow will be the day I got diagnosed at 1 o'clock p.m. This is what I look like a year later. I'll do this quickly because I don't like my hair. After chemo and everything, I've put stuff in it today, but yeah, this is like terrible. This is a really bad hair day. So now you can understand why I wear a hat all the time, because I cannot stand my hair at all. And it just might be getting shaved off. So you'll notice too that I'm also quite a lot heavier than I was a year ago when I first started, or even last September. After chemo was finished, oh, and by the way, I'm still alive, still kicking so far. So after chemo was finished, you get all the side effects and stuff like that. I won't go into great detail because it's just lingering stuff that gets out of your body. But, whoops, sorry. You're in no way, shape, or form to be able to go out jogging or walking. At least I wasn't. I wasn't super fit before all this started. I was relatively moderately fit, I guess you could say, because I walked a lot. I had a lot of muscle buildup. I was heavy, but it wasn't because I overate or anything like that. I have diabetes and I take insulin, and my doctor thinks that's the reason why I can't lose any weight. Anyway, over the course of the last year, I've gained weight because after chemo, I became somewhat inactive. I tried to be active, but it was too difficult. They don't want you to lose weight, so they want you on a good diet of everything. And I mean, when I was going through chemo, I could only tolerate whole milk, so I drank whole milk. And sometimes that would be my meal. So, but they want you to do that. They want you to not gain a crap ton of weight, but they don't want you to lose when you're going through chemo. So, anyway, I got through it. And so in December, I went for a CT scan, but I wasn't going to see anybody until sometime in January. But they put the results online, so I read them, and there was a growth in my left lower lung, which it was only 2 millimeters. And I say only, but only is a big deal to me. When it shrunk 2 millimeters, everybody thought that was a big deal. When it grew 2 millimeters, it wasn't that big of a deal. Anyway, so went to my appointment and I was like hot on fire, so to speak, because I had so many questions and I had researched everything and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if I was a difficult patient or what, but I wanted answers. And I also didn't want to keep getting a different doctor every time I went in. So I requested that. So I got this. I have the same gynecologist every time now, and he's the head of the gynecology oncology, which is great. Anyway, so went and saw him, and he wanted to put me on hormones in January. And because I'm on blood thinners and stuff, we had to get the okay from my thrombosis team, blah, blah, blah. So about a month later, I go in and they put me on the Megace is what it's called. And prime side effect is weight gain. A lot of weight gain, like 50, 60 pounds. Now, I'm nowhere near 50 or 60 pounds. Since this whole thing started, I have gained 10. And believe it or not, they told me that I would get moon face. I would get like the face from the hormone. It's almost like being on steroids. So I'm getting a bit of a moon face. Like I've noticed that just now. I noticed how fat my face looks. I see how fat I am when I look in the mirror, which isn't very often because I don't recognize who's there anymore. I know who's here, but here, like I notice my face, but it's fat. It's really chubby. It's red. This is called flushing. I get that as soon as I started taking my hormone. However, I've talked to some people in my support group, and some of them have had really extreme side effects. Touch wood, that I don't get any. I've been on it since February 5th, I think it is. So 2 months, almost 3 months. I did have a little bit of insomnia. I get up earlier now. I go to bed at like midnight sometimes. Sometimes I go to bed at 9 or 10, and I'm up at 4:30 every morning now. Between 4:30 and 5, which is my old schedule, which isn't so bad. Sure beats the whole when I was going through chemo and not sleeping for days and days and days. So I've had, it's weird. I've had like chemo side effects sporadically months later. That's what I think they are, because they don't develop into anything. Richard doesn't get any symptoms like the flu or anything like that. But I do get like flu-like symptoms. I'll get like achy. I'll get nauseated. Sometimes I'll have diarrhea just out of the blue. I will feel fine. I'll wake up in the morning. Oh my God, I look like that on TV. Ugh. Maybe if I do that, that's better. But this is like really uncomfortable. And poor Sophie, she's like right there. She's gonna hate me. Sorry, kid. Sorry, kid. She's like, oh, I'm out of here. So, side effects. It's the only thing I could think of because every once in a while it happens. And I know that from what I've read and everything, that chemo takes forever, not forever to get out of your system, but to recuperate from having chemo. So it's like every once in a while, it's almost like an acid flashback, but it's a chemo flashback that your body goes through, at least for me. And I'll get like heavily nauseated, almost to the point where I have to take my pills. My God, I can't get over how fat I am. Holy Christ. Oh, sorry. I don't look in the mirror anymore, so I don't see, and it's like, shit. There's Snapchat this. Anyway, so, yeah, so I get heavily nauseated. I get like bone pain again. Doesn't happen very often. I get a little bit achy, kind of like the flu. Like you think you're having the flu, you get diarrhea, but it's like the diarrhea I had when I had chemo. And you think about, what did you eat? You know, was I around anyone who was sick? Blah, 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 like all these things, right? The only thing is that it lasts for about 3 hours and it's done. I am not kidding you. Maybe 4 hours, but you wake up in the morning, you feel fine. You eat breakfast, you have coffee, do whatever, you get on with your day, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you all like, and I'm not talking like an hour after you eat or 3 hours. It's like it could be any time. And you just feel heavily nauseated. You start to get cramping and you go to the bathroom and you poop forever. And it hurts. Oh God, like when you were going through chemo, it hurts. I don't mean it hurts. It hurts. Your bum hurts. Okay. It's not as bad as the last chemo infusion I had, but it's like your whole system just cleans itself out. It's like, wow. Anyway, the last time it happened, I took like a gin. That it subsided it for a bit. And I was like going, oh my God, like what's going on? And so I was very close to taking some of my anti-nausea medication. And 10 minutes later, I was fine. And I was like sitting there and I was like going, okay, what's going on? Is it going to come back? And it didn't. And I'm like, okay. It's the only thing I can think of because I don't know what flu lasts a couple hours. And I didn't eat anything weird. I ate like oatmeal. with water, some organic cinnamon, maybe, anyway. So that's it. The Megace too. One of the side effects is nausea and stuff like that. So it could have been that. But usually you get it like constantly. And then over time it starts to get better because your body starts to get used to the hormone, and your body adjusts, and it not necessarily accepts it, but things get better. You're not like, at first I thought I got crabby, and I was not, I don't mean crabby. I mean, I was a bitch. But I was really, what happened was they put me on the Megace on February 5th, and I asked him what my prognosis was. And he told me, because I asked him, I said, I'm not a delicate flower. I know that this is going to kill me. I'm not going to last forever. And he really, like, the amount of disease and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I was like, okay. So he said 2 to 5 years. Now, I don't know if it's 2 to 5 years from now or from when I got diagnosed the first time or diagnosed last year. I never asked. I just was like, okay, yeah, because I did my own research and that's what I got. But I got it from 2 to 5 years from the metastatic, so from last year. Anyway, he said that they don't have any markers to go on, which means I went through chemo and it shrunk some of my tumors and stuff and halted the growth. But we don't have, and then with this new growth kind of thing, if that's what it is, we don't have anything to go by to, what's the word I'm thinking of? Side by side, compare. So he said, once I'm on the Megace and they do the tests and stuff like that, which should be coming up in the next month or so, I go and see him in June 4th, I think, to get my results of my CT scan, which I hope will happen soon, to see if it's working. And like I said, so I've talked to some of the ladies in the support group that I belong to, and wow, they said it's like a miracle drug, and that's what I'm hoping for, that it'll at least shrink them, halt it, maybe go into remission. I don't know if I don't think metastatic cancer you can go into remission, but these ladies have been telling me that they're metastatic, and after they've been on this stuff for a while, it's like NED, which is no evidence of disease. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know. That would be great. So anyway, this is me a year later. I wouldn't say well, me, yes, I have, but Richard and I have been through a lot in the last year. It's tested a lot of stuff. It's showed how strong we are together and how strong we are as individuals, because we were hit with devastating news, because this is devastating. I've come to terms with stuff. I've had issues, roller coaster, emotionally, obviously. Not as bad as the first time. Not as much anger. Oh, getting back to the Megace, the hormone that I take, and anger. Some people reported to be extremely, I can say, temperamental, mood swings and stuff. I thought at first, yes, but got my prognosis of 2 to 5 years, and the next day after I got it, even though I knew it, I went into a deep depression. Not, when I say that, people go, oh my God, no, you want to kill yourself. It's no, I want to live. Regardless of everything, I want to live. So it's a different kind of depression. It's almost like you're grieving your life. Because you're hit with this. You're kind of in denial before you actually hear it. You know in the back of your mind that, yes, this is what's going to happen, but also in the back of your mind, standing side by side, is hope. And you hope that it'll get better, or you'll stay alive longer, or whatever the case may be. So when he gave me the prognosis of 2 to 5 years, which I already knew because I did my research, I was still devastated, as I think anyone would be, because it's not real until they say it. And I know that sounds weird, but you're always hoping that it's not really real. And then they tell you, and it's like a confirmation of what you already know. So it was a really tough one for me to accept, which I think it would be for anyone. It wasn't like you didn't get the job, so I needed the day to kind of spend to myself and have self-pity and be depressed. This was a little bit different. I cried an awful lot. I probably will when I talk about it, because it's very emotional, because you're dying. Who's okay with that, I'm not. So with me and the way I've dealt with everything right from the very beginning, 3 years ago, like back in 2016, I've always moved forward, never looked back, and tried not to dwell on anything. This one was a really hard one, because you have 2 to 5 years to live. I was becoming a vegan, and he said changing your diet right now isn't going to help you stay alive longer or anything like that. And I was just like, oh. So, I wanted to get my diabetes kind of in check. And I just said, fuck it. I'm going to eat meat. I'm going to eat the fucking cake. If I want to eat a whole fucking cake, I'm going to eat the whole fucking cake. If I get fat, I get fat. I didn't. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you're just like, who gives a shit anymore, right? Like, really. So I came home and I was sewing and stuff, and I had to stop. I tried to do this a couple of times. I actually wrote some stuff or did an audio, whatever, memo thing on my phone, and it's pretty dark. It's not dark in the way you want to kill yourself. Please don't ever think that. When I talk about depression, I don't want to kill myself. I don't. I want to live. I'm depressed. I'm grieving. I think I'm grieving my life. I try not to dwell on it, but it took me a good week to really accept that this is it. Okay? So this is your life. I'm glad I don't have to go to work and deal with shit and be stressed out about stuff. I'm very grateful I get to stay home and be with my kids every single day, my cats, and my husband. Not that he's home every day because he goes to work, but I get to see him every day, and I get to wake up every day and be grateful that I'm here. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but I didn't realize how fat my face is. Holy God. Even if I try and do this, it doesn't work. Anyway, I'm alive, and that's what counts, right? I'm still eating healthy. I put meat back into my diet because I kind of had to. I was actually feeling really, really sick without it. So after 6 weeks, I got told that I shouldn't still be detoxing. So please add meat. So I added meat and everything corrected and went back to normal. Currently, I'm eating meat like every day. And I try and mix it up with a little bit of fish. I'll have tuna. Not a lot of fish. I've never been a big fish person, but I'll eat it if I have to. I just don't find it fills you up very much. You could eat a whole haddock, and then 2 hours later you're starving. So, but a lot of chicken and like ground chicken and pasta right now with me is a big thing. And I'm experimenting with a lot of different spices and stuff like that. And I made an Alfredo sauce, and I wish I would have known about this years ago, because now I eat Alfredo. Not every day, of course, but Excuse me. So, anyway, I just wanted to catch you up a year later. I'm not dead. I know that I haven't done a video for 8 months or so, but I honestly didn't. I stopped doing them because I thought nobody was watching. Nobody really cared. And probably don't, but it's here just in case someone, because I've done this. I've come across people's blogs that are ill and watch their channel and stuff and all their videos, and then all of a sudden they stop and you wonder, oh my God, did they pass away? So I'm still here a year later. And like I said, it's been a tough year, but I made it. And I probably start crying. Excuse me. A year ago at my birthday, I took a picture of myself at my desk. And at that time, we weren't sure what was going on, if I had lung cancer or what was happening. And they're kind of leaning towards the cancer side of it. So I remember taking a picture while I was at work. And I was all dressed up in this beautiful dress that I just loved. It had jewels on it and a Peter Pan collar. And oh, I just loved it. And I felt really special that day. But also that day, and I even posted it, I think, on Facebook, is that, happy birthday to me. I don't know if I'll be around next year to celebrate my 53rd birthday, which was true because we weren't sure, right? We had no idea a year ago when we were told you have incurable cancer, what would be the prognosis, what the next year would have in store for us, So I keep busy with my quilting. I make quilts now and stuff like that, baby quilts and big people quilts, and they're not for anyone in particular, really. And if I sell them, I sell them. If I don't, I don't care. Richard can donate them or give them away to whoever he wants. Last year, I've got my whole life in order, which is very surreal. I don't have a whole big bunch. Everything, but it's hard basically packing your whole life into a suitcase and putting it off to the side so that when you do pass away, your partner or whoever opens up the suitcase and knows what to do. But that was very surreal. And yeah, I'm not angry anymore. There's no point. I used to get angry. Like I said, I was on this emotional roller coaster. But I would get angry because I was so alone. I was lonely and no one would come and see me and blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, you know what? I wouldn't say I'm a hermit, but like I'm introverted now. I don't care if I see anybody. I know it sounds horrible, but I surround myself with what I love, and it's my family. And if people want to come see me, they can come see me, and if they don't have to. I don't get upset. I don't get mad at them. I don't judge them. People have stuff going on in their own life. There's a couple of videos I've done over the course of the year that were really, really horrible. And it was just me lashing out because I'm angry because this is happening to me, and I lash out at everybody else. It's just a normal response. But like I said, I have accepted, swallowed a very jagged pill. I don't know if I'd say accepted. I don't know how to say it. um, like accepted my fate. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to put it into words. That's the other thing too, because I don't want to work anymore. I mean, I read and everything. I do my brain games, but it's not the same as when you're working. Your brain actually goes dormant and you become stupid, and you don't. And I'm not being mean. You do. You become not as smart as you used to be, and you. Oh, hi. Okay, so funny. I'm kind of doing something. This kid, man, attached to me. I tell you, I get off the couch to go for a pee. If I'm gone for more than 10 seconds, she's in there. What are you doing? Well, when are you coming back? And it's like, oh my God, Sophie, take a chill pill. But yeah, I'm all over the map here again tonight. I do this all the time. But yeah, needless to say, this year has been something else. So I'm going to sign off. I've been on here for, almost 30 minutes, and I think that's long enough for babbling on. So I'll give you one more look at the awful hair. I think the last time I was on here, I was bald, which actually I prefer. This old lady, like today is a bad day. Like most of the time I have the Queen of England hairstyle or a Krusty the Clown thing going on. Like kind of, this is just bad tonight. Because I had it's not even here, my headband on, and I was trying to fiddle with my hair today and it just didn't work. So it's, I hate that I have to show it to you like this because it looks dreadful. Way more dreadful than normal. Anyway, we'll put that on. You can see my fat face now. So I'm going to sign off because I will go on and on. But I just want everyone to know that a year ago tomorrow at 1 p.m., I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer that metastasized to both of my lungs. And I've been given a prognosis of 2 to 5 years. But let's beat that. Let's go to 10. Okay? Fight like a girl. Bye, guys.